Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, the internet's favorite loser, signing back on to bring you guys another video. And it's actually a very special video because, as you guys know, I've covered a lot of Borderlands, I've done a lot of Payday 2 content, a lot of, like, two of my favorite games. I've done a lot of Dark Souls, that's another one of my favorite games. But I haven't covered a lot of zombies on this channel, and honestly, guys, zombies was something huge for me growing up. Um, I was a young, oh Jesus Christ, uh, when World at War came out and I actually got to experience it. I would have only been about 10 years old. I would have been that was like 2009. So I would have been when Black Ops 2 came out in 2010. I would have been about 11, 12, somewhere around there. And then Black Ops 3, I was in my mid teens. So yeah. But I grew up on zombies. I absolutely love zombies. Now, did I enjoy the atmosphere? Yes, I did a lot, right? But mainly I played zombies because I enjoyed the mode. I loved shooting zombies. I loved training. I loved doing traps. As a kid, I was not invested in the lore. Now, as I've gotten older, I have found myself kind of investing myself in lore. Lore is what keeps me kind of going now. Um because I don't know, I just kind of, I don't want to say fell out of love with gaming, but my enjoyment of certain things have kind of switched. So now I'm actually really, really invested in the lore. Like I said, when I was a kid, when I was a kid to a teenager, I really just wanted to be the best and get the high rounds and stuff like that. I didn't really pay any attention to the story. Yes, I did the Easter eggs in Black Ops 3 just because they were fun and I enjoyed the boss fights. Was I really following along with the story? A little bit, because my friends were keeping me up to date with what was going on and trying to explain to me what I was not understanding and kind of missing. But what I'm trying to get at is never really paid much attention. I knew the lore was there, I knew the story was there, but I was really more just interested in playing the game mode, and just training and just having a lot of fun and being the best and not going down and reviving. You know what I mean? Like that's it was like I was a competitive zombie player of sorts, where I wasn't paying much attention to anything else, including like details. Like yes, when I first played Transit, I fell in love with the fact that it felt like a kind of like a Left 4 Dead campaign where there was different areas and you were on a bus and you were traveling and it kind of just felt different. It kind of hit my open world, um, like love at the time. So I actually did fall in love with Transit. Now, yes, I do agree that Transit has a lot of issues, such as the random teleportation, the bus taking. There's a lot of issues. The fog, yes, I understand. But honestly, all of that kind of adds to, excuse me, what Transit is for me. I really, when I go back, I really do enjoy playing Transit, but I'm never on the bus. I'm constantly running through the fog, getting the Goblin Knuckles, to take out the denizens in one hit, running through the fog with stamina up. So, like, I've, whatever. I've kind of skipped the whole bus aspect and the random teleportation because you can actually get around this map pretty fast. Because Diner can lead you to farm, or you can take the shortcut to town. There, those are going to lead you to the power area. You know what I mean? So it's not that huge of a map. It's not that hard to get around. The teleportation really never even comes into play for me anymore. Unless I just get tired of running and I just kind of hop and hop and hop and hop. So it's not that bad, alright? The buildables, the fact that you have to have a turbine to make any of them work, um, kind of sucks. The fact that you can't carry a turbine and the trap, that's stupid. That's stupid as hell. That's just game design. It don't make any sense. Why the fuck am I gonna build a a lightning trap all the way at the power plant, and then have to bring it all the way here to the bus depot to put the turbine next to it. But if it breaks or if the zombie gets to it, I have to then run all the way back to the damn power plant. Or the turret that most of the time kills you, or at least it I don't know, it doesn't really work really well on zombies for me. Um, Dude, I barely use the trap, so I don't even actually know if the turret can kill you. For some reason, I have like a childhood memory of the turret killing me because we would camp in this little area right here at bus depot that you could open up with the turbine, and we would just open up the front door, and then we would kill all the zombies that was funneled in with the turret. And I just remember for some reason the turret killing me. I'm not actually sure if that's a mechanic or not. Actually, that might be a Mandela effect that I'm remembering something that didn't happen 12 plus years ago. So forgive me. But yeah, I mean the traps I didn't get. The zombie shield I did not realize how great that was. And then the fact that you get that at diner. As a kid, I'd never put it together. Like I mean, by the time Mob of the Dead came out, I put that shit together. I was like, oh my god, this is basically just Jug Plus. Yes, put this on my back and protect me from back shots. Giggity. But when I'm playing Transit, I never really put together, hey, dumbass, put the shield on and make this experience 10 times better. No, because my dumbass kept going for the jet gun like it was a great thing. Then just to find out, like, through YouTube videos, that everybody hates this map and everybody hates this gun. I'm like, why, man? I actually enjoyed the jet gun. Like, yeah, it sucks that if it blows up, you gotta take all the damn parts individually back to town and build it again, and it kind of is it's a shitty wonder weapon, okay? But I liked it. I did. I like shitty things sometimes. So like, yeah, I liked it. I liked the weapon. And yeah, you had to use the glitch to make it effective for high rounding. I understand. Like I said, for all of Transit's faults, I actually had a blast on it. And it might just be the fact that I was a kid playing it and I just was just trying my best and I just really did enjoy just playing Transit just because I did like the dark atmosphere and I did like the fact that it was multi-layer, like, multiple areas that kind of like, and I did enjoy discovering like Noct and the cornfield and discovering the cabin in the woods for myself. I did enjoy trying to avoid YouTube videos on this because I was a PS3 kid, so I would literally have to avoid my friends that had Xbox 360s or avoid any YouTube content because I wanted to experience all of the maps as they came out. I wanted to struggle, I wanted to discover everything that I could. And then once I felt like I discovered enough, I would then start looking at YouTube, zombie OGs in the community like Mr. T Lexified, Darlick JD. Wait, Jesus Christ, I'm so stupid. I'm tired, but Mr. Darlick, the Smiths plates, just YouTube, MC Sports Hawk, Milo. I would look at anybody that was an OG in the community, an OG at the time that they were actually just starting too, pretty much. But I would look for them specifically because they would have the tutorials and the tips and the tricks and the parts locations and the Easter egg guides and the like how to get the. I would have never figured out how to get the extra blundergat on mob that way we could carry 2 blundergats. I would never figure that shit out on my own. I'm gonna be realistic with you. I would never have figured out the skull locations. Don't know who did that. I would have never had figured out how to upgrade the Hell's Retriever into the Redeemer. Or might have been back vice versa. It's been a long time since I played Mob of the Dead. Just because it's just been a long time since I played zombies, honestly. Just because. Okay, that's a lie. I actually, but been a long time since I played zombies consistently, and I want to get back into zombies just because it is one of my favorite like ever. Not the new stuff. I don't much care for Black Ops 4, but when I was growing up, man, World of War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, those were my jams, man. I absolutely, absolutely loved all the way up from World of War to Black Ops 3. I do not enjoy Cold War or Black Ops 4 or whatever bastardization that they've done to zombies at this point. It doesn't even look fun to me. So basically, I stopped with Black Ops 3, which is why I've been getting into custom zombies. And I do want to do custom zombie map reviews and funny moments and stuff like that. But spiraling off, I just wanted to let you guys know that zombies is one of my favorite game modes ever. Black Ops 2 is the best Call of Duty in my opinion. As far as complete package, as far as competitive multiplayer, that is where competitive multiplayer for I believe, in my opinion, it's the peak. With the optic gaming and just the I think the feel around it and the hype around it for pretty much everything. I mean, campaign was great, zombies was great. Now, as we're gonna discuss, Transit wasn't a great launch for zombies. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say give that one to you. Die Rise was also a little mixed received, but once we got to Mob, Buried, and Origins, then this is where Black Ops 2 really, really, really took off. But we're not here to discuss like what the best zombies maps or whatever it is. We are here to actually discuss the horrors of transit, and this I'm gonna make sure to give credit to. Um, these videos are created by a YouTuber named StormDev, who I highly recommend you go subscribe to and actually watch these videos for yourself because I'm going to be stopping these videos when I react to them a lot, and I'm going to be talking over them a lot, and it's really going to ruin the flow that he creates and just the absolute epicness that he creates for these videos. As far as scripting and deep diving into this stuff, like he is really well versed on his knowledge of like the zombie storyline and stuff, and that's where I really fell in love with this guy because he's putting things in perspective for me to really, really understand. Instead of sitting down and watching an 18-hour video of the ciphers and all this shit and whatever, you know what I mean? Stuff that's gonna lose me because I'm ADHD. He first of all, the way he speaks and the way he talks really grips me and keeps me right on the video. Secondly, what he adds, like the radios and the TV like voice clips and stuff like that, and the voice lines. I didn't know this shit existed because it was all stuff that I was just running around. I was just running around training. I thought the whole purpose of zombies is just run around and train, run around and train. Never really did the super Easter eggs in Black Ops 2, mainly because I couldn't get a party together for people that wanted to do it. Most of us just wanted to jump on, shoot zombies, and then get off and go to bed and go to school the next day. So I didn't get to experience all the story. Like I said, I knew it was there, and I knew a little bit of it with Maxis and Rick Toffin and shit, whatever. Still is a little hazy, and I don't know what really is happening. I understand at the end of Black Ops, through Black Ops 1, we're trying to get things, and he's trying to get the golden rod from Shangri La, and then what happened with Moon. We blew up the Earth, and that's why Transit's all fucked up, and that's the Victus storyline. I think it's called. So like I've put thousands of hours into zombies. I've high round, for me high round. You know what I mean? I've gotten the round 70 on Mob as a kid. As a kid, that was like my greatest accomplishment ever. I showed everybody on the leaderboards and showed everybody on the I this is what I did over the summer or whatever. I got around 70 on Mob. Like that was some sort of crazy accomplishment when everybody else is going to around 100 whatever. So just little things to feel good about. But yeah, that's my experience with zombie, trying to get the best meta stuff and the best training areas and the fastest round, how to kill zombies the fastest, what traps, what area that they spawn fastest in so you can kill them fast. um that was my whole aspect of zombies, was just the gameplay part and just running in circles for hours, and not the storyline, which is now actually what I actually would play for, because now I'm more into epic boss fights and story, like Easter egg steps and doing things to unlock new things, do whatever. Black Ops 3 kind of hit that for me. And the fact that you could do those Easter eggs solo was what was pretty epic. Except for Shadows. You couldn't do the whole of Shadows solo, which kind of. But oh well. Anyway, Storm Dev has created a series on YouTube that has really went off for him, and I discovered him because of this. It's called The Horrors of, and he'll put the map in the title, but I sit down and I really watch this because I really, again, I got into the lore and I actually really enjoy scary stuff. I'd like to scare myself at night. And Transit's I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. I'm trying to fight the hiccups while I'm talking. Transit's a pretty damn scary map. Very interesting map too. Because again, stuff that he's about to say I never really put together. So let me actually turn this up so you can hear him. And I'm gonna mute my mic here in a second. Now, as always, just like with Hellfire, when I react to his content, Storm Dev, you don't have to strike my channel. If you want me to take a video down or whatever, just contact me and I'll privatize it or get rid of it. But I'm gonna be reacting to the whole thing. I know it's kind of shitty, but like I said, I'm gonna stop and talk about certain points when they come up. And I've already talked a lot, and I'm sorry that I've been talking for so long, but I kind of wanted to set the background for whoever might be watching in the future. But yeah, Storm Dev, you want the video down, just contact me. I'll take it down. But I really like your stuff, and I really wanted to do a deep dive and kind of talk about what you bring up in this video, like shit that I just never even thought about or even knew. So here's the part where I'm gonna take over, or let him take over. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna let him talk for a while, and then whenever I feel the need to break in, I'm gonna break in. All right, take over, Storm Dev. Go ahead, go away.
Can't even tell you it was a huge shift in direction because it really wasn't. We were seeing the direct effects of.
Sorry about that. I forgot that I was playing the video for a second. I gotta go all the way back because about 20 seconds. Hold on, because he sets it up pretty well. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Call of Duty Black Ops 2 came out on November 13th, 2012. It went on to become one of the most popular and renowned Call of Duty games to date. However, the Zombies mode launched with, let's say, a mixed reception. The only launch map was a map called Tranzit. I can't even tell you it was a huge shift in direction because it really wasn't. We were seeing the direct effects of what happened in the last game. It was more of an evolution. Granted, that evolution had a very rocky start, but it eventually flourished into Mob of the Dead and Origins, which were the building blocks for Black Ops 3 Zombies.
I'm sorry, I'm going to break in for just 1 second before I forget this. Because I have a lot of friends, especially from this era, like I've lost contact with a lot of people on PlayStation. That happens. Last online 2 years ago, whatever. But what he just said kind of like I didn't really understand. People were like, "Oh, zombies got too complicated or whatever." You know what I mean? Like every map they introduced kind of evolved. If you look at World at War, you had Knocked, which had nothing, and a mystery box, and it had a creepy area. And then it was just like, okay, go ahead and survive for as long as you can. I'm sorry about my hiccups, guys. Hold on. I'm trying not to hiccup right into the mic. But then you had Verrucht, which introduced the four main perks, which was a crazy map that also separated you from your friends until you turned the power on. So that was if you were playing with just two people, one was on one side of the door, one was on the other. And World at War was crazy tough because if you knife lunge the zombie and it didn't, you know what I mean, you just got windmilled to death and you were black hole dead. There's a lot of things that can happen in World at War that just because it was an old game and it was just not coded very, in my opinion, very well in a lot of aspects. But that kind of was what made World at War So good, cool to me was the gritty feel to it. The movement was definitely not as fluent or as good as in Black Ops 1 or even Black Ops 2. So like you're especially with the Varrock sprinters, them motherfuckers will just catch you and chase you down and kill you. So, they were always innovating, because then you got Numa, which introduced the Wonder Waff, um, which was the first actual wonder weapon besides the ray gun, but it was the first wonder weapon that killed a horde almost. It didn't fully kill out a whole horde, but it would, you know, it was the first wonder weapon that was infinite damage, and you could high round with it. And then Numa also introduced the random perk spawns. Then you got to the Reese or the Giant, which had all the perks, the power, the traps, the teleporter pads. That was new, the teleporters. And then it introduced the Pack a Punch with the Wonder Waff, but you could Pack a Punch the Wonder Waff now. But on World at War, it would take away your drugs, so you might, you know what I mean? That was a weird. But I'm just saying it always innovated. And then you got Kino, which was, I think, I heard, was originally supposed to be in World at War, but then got put in the Black Ops 1. Thank God, because the engine really does serve that map really well. And that one didn't innovate too much with, it innovated with story and the the reels and the music Easter eggs and the that was when the story was starting to get developed. Element 115, really, you know what I mean? And then it introduced the crawlers, the Nova crawlers, and the Thunder Gun. So a new wonder weapon and a new enemy type. Then you get to Ascension, which was Thunder Gun, but it introduced Gersh devices and Matryoshkas. Yeah. It's been a long time since I played classic Black Ops 1. Fuck. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it introduced Gersh devices, and it introduced, like, the whole map was you know the way you opened up pack was different. You had to do the lunar pads and stuff, and then we got to what was after Ascension? Shang? Or was it? I think it was. No, was it Call of the Dead? Call of the Dead was a completely different feeling map with two. I think it's Call of the Dead, right? The Call of the Dead, then Shang. Yeah, I think. Dude, I am not well versed on my release dates because it's been a long time. Like I was one. But anyway, if it's Call of the Dead, that is a completely different feeling map with multiple wonder weapons, a cool Easter egg, with the characters actually locked behind the vault, like the vault in the vault, and then you have to get them out and get them the few, and don't you give them the don't you no do they get the rod in Shang, but I thought you had to give it back to them in Call of Dead, so I think it was Shang then Call of the Dead. Man, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna kill me for the rest of this video now. Trying to figure out. We're trying to remember which one came out first. Um, but then Shangri-La was, oh my god, that was the no, like the damn, what was it? The napalm zombies, the shrieker zombies, the in my opinion the best wonder weapon, the coolest wonder weapon at least. I think it's the best. The shrink ray, I love that gun so damn much. I love it so much, and that's why I really like the custom map Mori Rebirth, because there's so many different versions of that particular gun. You can get the normal version of the baby gun, the black hole version of the baby gun, the freeze version of the baby gun. I love that custom map just because of the different variants of the baby gun. It's literally my favorite wonder weapon. And besides maybe the wave guns from Moon, I really like those. The thunder gun is, I think, overpicked. It's a really great wonder weapon, really cool, especially for the when you first start Black Ops 1 and you get it for the first time. But I just think, as far as uniqueness, I think it would have to be. I would love to put the Winter's Howl on the list, but it's such a bad gun. It's such a bad wonder weapon. I can't. They would have to have buffed it, and it just never happened. So definitely my top two wonder weapons. I think from Black. Oh God, man. That'd be a tough one. Like overall, from like World at War to Black Ops 3, like the Wonder Waff is like a classic. I it's I really like that gun, but I would have to put my two favorite Wonder weapons is probably the baby gun and the microwave gun, just because I like how they float off and they blow up. You can see their body getting microwaved basically, and they blow up. And it's just cool that it's two ray guns, and then you can combine it together to make the actual full blast wonder weapon. So I would definitely put the wave gun and the baby gun as my top two, just because of uniqueness. Obviously, then you go to the you got the Apothicon Servant, or whatever the fuck, Squash, or whatever the hell it's called. Um, that you used to be able to pack a punch in Shadows of Evil by doing a glitch, but then they made it pack a punchable in Revelations, which I love Revelations. And part of me loves Revelations for the same reason that I love Buried, and that's just because they're easy, that you can get on and just have fun. Revelations, you can get the Thunder Gun and the Black Hole Spitter, I'm gonna call it, the Apothicon Servant. And you can pack a punch the Apothicon Servant through doing a little Easter egg. That's actually pretty cool. Um, so of course, I would like to put the Apocryphon. I can't even say it now. I would like to put the Apocryphon. I can't say it now. Jesus Christ! I said it twice perfectly, but now that I'm trying to say it, I can't say it. The Apothicon Servant. I would like to put that as third, just because it's a crazy design, with a crazy strong effect. So yeah, I'm gonna put that as my third. Um, then you got, of course, the Origin Staffs. You have the Soliquifier. Soliquifier's that weapon. That weapon, as cool as it was, especially before nerf. That weapon was just used as a troll device after nerf. Uh, I can't tell you how many times my friends made me slip off the fucking map with either that or the trample steam on Die Rise. I have some very good memories with on Die Rise, just trolling around, getting trolled with the Sliquifier. The jet gun obviously is not good. Um, Liquefier was very good, and even after patch is still okay. Then buried with the paralyzer, that was a great fun weapon. Of course, you get the Reagan Mark II introduced in buried. Of course, the Blundergat. See, Black Ops 2, I think, had a infatuation of not making the wonder weapons 100% damage. So, you'd really be using the Blundergat to kill. You would have one Blundergat to kill Brutus, and the other Blundergat would have the Acid Gat equipped to it, so you could use it as the what the crossbow used to do, like basically the monkey bomb effect. So that would pretty much be the only reason you would have either of those. The paralyzer wasn't infinite damage either. I don't recall. I don't think it was. Um, Liquefier was 100% damage, but I think after nerf, it stopped being 100% damage. Like it stopped being an insta kill after round 100. So I feel like Black Ops 2 really just did not like to have OP weapons anymore at that point. Because even the staffs, the ice staff, I don't think was infinite damage all the way, right? I don't believe so. And then you go to the Rising Drac, which was basically just Origins, kind of, but with the bows. And then you had the Lightning Bow. They nerfed that. So I and then the Ray Gun Mark III's on Gurad Kurovi, which is a fantastic map with dragons and mechs. With a pretty epic boss fight versus Nikolai. But that weapon was also not insta forever. So yeah, I was the Apocryphal Servant the only weapon in that game that was 100% damage because it had the Gersh effect? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I always enjoyed the discussion. But yeah, what the hell? How did I get off on that tirade? What the This is what I'm talking about. I'm completely ADHD. But I wanted to say that by the time Black Ops 1 ended and we got the moon, it felt completely different than what the fuck was, Kino and, even the same game. Like, Moon was insane, you blew up the Earth, you did this, you know what I'm saying? So, like, people that were like, oh, I don't like the direction Zombies is going, they were always innovating, Transit was just their big attempt, and it just the limitation of the consoles and stuff. They couldn't do what they wanted to do. But honestly, that map did enough. It did enough. It did good for me. I had tons of fun on it. I enjoyed doing bus only challenges or B23R only challenges on the bus or whatever. But I enjoyed that map. Now of course like I said, it had its downfalls. A lot of people didn't like the Avogadro, but Jesus Christ, two Galva knuckle shots and he's gone. One EMP, he's done. You gotta try to have fun. You gotta try to find the fun. Of course, it's not a map that I'm gonna want to play 24/7, um, at all. And honestly, like I don't know, but wait, wasn't the K23R what the hell was it? KT4 um once you got that upgrade, it wasn't that 100% damage too? Yeah, I think so. I like that weapon too. That's about I have a love hate relationship with too. But I love the atmosphere. There's a lot of glitches. I love that you could become a spider. I love the kind of have a love hate relationship with plant things. The Easter egg is fun. The thrashers get to be a little bit much. But yeah, that map is love hate relationship with me. Shadows of Evil by the time the game ended was great. They changed the Margwai, Magua, where at least always had a mouth open. And yeah, by the time that game ended, Shadows of Evil became one of my favorite maps of all time. But yeah, I mean, for the people that are like, oh, this doesn't even feel like zombies anymore. Once you get to Cold War and Vanguard and all that shit and Black Ops 4 even, that's when I'm like, okay, zombies is no longer fucking zombies. And then especially whatever we got today. Whatever we got today looks you're basically just playing like almost like if you look at like Modern Warfare 3 like survival or whatever, that's what that kind of reminds me of. Like the zombies today definitely remind me of like Modern Warfare 3 Survival. Now, don't get me wrong, Modern Warfare 3 Survival is okay and pretty fun. I actually really enjoy like the Modern Warfare 3 and the. I'm talking about the OG Modern Warfare 3, not this remastered Modern Warfare 3. I'm talking about the OG Modern Warfare 2, not the remastered Modern or whatever the fucking reimagining of Modern Warfare 2. I don't know what the hell we're doing. we're going in circles at this point, and I jumped off the COD bandwagon after Black Ops 3. There was nothing there for me after Black Ops 3. So, like, excuse me, like, when I talk about Modern Warfare, whatever, like, the Modern Warfare series, I'm talking about the OG series, not this shit that they got going on now. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you just play, like, the survival mode or whatever, that stuff is fun, but it's not zombies fun. And I like the round and the points and the arcadey feel to it. So whatever we got now, definitely does not feel like zombies anymore. So that's where you can start complaining. But they were just adding more replay value and more content for these zombies maps. Everything after Moon, they were just trying to make as replayable as they could, with as much story as they could, with as many Easter eggs as they could fit in for the players. So the people that were complaining at the time should fucking. I want to see what they have to say about this shit they got going on now. Anyway, I'm gonna let him go ahead and talk because we're not even in the first 30 seconds of the video. Oh my god.
Unfortunately, I feel like that's a lot more to be said than anything regarding current or even recent past titles, but alas, that's not what this video is about. Like I said, Black Ops 2 Zombies had a very rough start. Transit was wrought with problems. Poorly implemented mechanics, annoying enemies, a lackluster main quest, the list can go on. Not to mention all the signs of them having to cut back on their more ambitious plans.
New route learned. Cross-referencing mapping software. Automatic route guidance still in effect.
Regardless of what you think or thought about Transit, it still had standards to uphold elsewhere. I rarely see anyone else mention or acknowledge this, and that's what I wanted to show you in this video. The environmental storytelling, world building, the style and aesthetic of the map, the feelings it instills in you. Even though this map has never played well, the aesthetics and visuals never cease to keep me curious, fascinated, interested in what was going on. This video was inspired by the Exceptional Gamer's video on the horrors of Black Ops 2, and also his Black Ops 2 Iceberg. If you haven't seen those videos yet, I can't urge you enough to go watch them. I'll leave a link in the description for all that, along with his channel. Be sure to go check him out if you haven't already. Before we dive deep into Transit, let's go over how we got here. Let's start with Ultimus. Takeo, Nikolai, Dempsey, and Richtofen were the original cast introduced in World at War on the map Shinonuma. This group of characters goes on to live out their story through an overrun secret Nazi facility, an abandoned Nazi theater, a Russian cosmodrome, and mysterious ancient ruins. From time traveling to the future to getting stuck in places they wouldn't expect.
That's not a lever, Richtofen!
Richtofen keeps asking more and more from the rest of the group, yet their final destination would be one that no one would suspect: the moon. With another time jump into the future, to 2025, here all the pieces would come together to form Richtofen's grand scheme. One thing leads to another, and before you know it, rockets are set off and fly towards the Earth. Flash forward to 10 years later, now on Earth, we are introduced to a new cast of characters. Ones that don't have access to all of this time-traveling technology and have been stuck on Earth for all the time it's been ravaged by that fateful decision made on the moon. Marlton, an arrogant, narcissistic nerd, Misty, a rugged farm girl, Samuel Stuhlinger, an estranged, radical conspiracy theorist, and Russman, a former important asset to the Broken Arrow program, now a crazed hobo. These characters make up the new Victus crew, which are the player's new vessels to continue this crazy story.
See, right there, like, I would have not. I just thought these were characters I was playing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really put together, like, all right, they're still off fucked up on the moon or something somewhere, so, like, that's why we're no longer playing as them. Here's these new characters on Earth that have all, like, kind of got together because they're trying to survive. And I didn't know all their backstories, especially Russman being this important person for the Arrowhead or whatever he just said. I had no idea any of this, and I love how he does the voiceover. He's got such a great voice for the voiceovers. Like I said, it keeps me hooked and wanting to listen. So yeah, I had no idea about any of this. I mean, like I said, I knew at the end of Moon Mom's Boom. I thought, oh, we're playing these characters because we're not back from the moon yet or whatever. I had no idea like that they all actually had some backstories, especially Russman. Boop, boop, boop.
Before you even spawn into the map, the loading screens already tell you so much. We see vintage postcards on a dirty, tiled floor covered in blood next to spent cases, damaged, discarded. The iconic font invites you on a warm adventure, contrasting the environment around you. It creates this anxious, uneasy atmosphere. You know something's off, different than what we're used to at this point. Even the music during the loading screens reflects this. A classic jingle plays over an old radio as it distorts to static, making the surroundings audible. You hear these faint, unnerving screeches and screams in the distance until the song finally fades away. Straight into the thick of it, the player spawns in a bus station, surrounded by the undead. Immediately, we can see the effects those rockets had on the Earth. We see fire and lava oozing from the cracks in the ground. A dense smog has settled all over the place. Once you start to find your bearings, salvaging to stay alive, you realize that this place doesn't look like your average bus station. I mean, the average bus station from 2025, 10 years ago, when the rockets hit. This looks more like a vintage, 1950s small town that's been frozen in time, abandoned. But is it? Listen, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to the zombie storyline, especially from this time period, so if you are, this will come as no shock to you now. But if you were an intrigued player who paid attention to the environment around you and all the context clues, you may be able to deduce that there's more going on here than the eyes can see. Things don't appear to be what they seem in this old, rundown town. The player might be completely distracted by the onslaught of zombies to see what might have really been going on here. Weapons that are somewhat indicative of the time frame this place appears to come from, the 1950s, but soon enough we are using modern, sometimes even cutting-edge weaponry. Weapons that would not be found in an abandoned town like this. Zombies can be seen wearing hospital gowns and straitjackets. What are they doing here? We don't see a hospital or an asylum anywhere. Others are seen wearing sleek, futuristic clothing or orange coveralls with distinct patches on them that say Hanford Sanatorium. Like I said, we don't see an asylum or a sanatorium, so what are these guys doing here? We don't see any bus station attendants, diner hostesses, no gas station employees, no mechanics, no farmers' hands, no regular citizens that might be roaming the town. We see zombies in medical gowns and straitjackets, or we see them in futuristic clothing, not representative of the people that may have lived here. If you look closely, you can find collars around the necks of the zombies, the yellow hazard symbol on the back. Yet these are absent on the zombies wearing hospital gowns and straitjackets. Everything doesn't add up. Everything seems so strange when you take time to think about it. It's hard to come up with anything logical. When you venture out into the heavy fog, it becomes claustrophobic. You hear the scurrying of a little varmint or pest, a creature that will eventually emerge from the fog to pounce on you, jump on you, latch onto your head, and tear your eyes out. If you even catch a glimpse of this creature, you can be assured a close encounter will soon follow. But what is it? Its proportions are off, unnatural. There isn't much time to think about it because you're too busy trying to escape the fog alive. Eventually, you will find yourself at what appears to be a destroyed factory building or a power plant of some sort.
Again, the video editing is honestly perfect, and I know a lot of this might be from theater, but to take the time and do all that, really appreciate it. Sorry, I just wanted to give you another compliment. Go continue.
You open a door to an outhouse of all things and fall into what looks like a hidden, secret laboratory. The blinding white color and chrome lining of the sleek walls contrasts the outside with its colors devoid of all light. The extremely sudden change of scenery makes you ask questions. What is this doing here? What is the purpose of this place? What is this place used for? On the surface, this town seems somewhat ordinary, yet you see through all these little tiny cracks that things aren't what they seem, things that were here that clearly didn't belong. And when you find this lab that is completely out of place, it blows the lid off of this whole thing. It starts to make more sense believing this town isn't real, that no one ever lived here or worked here, that this town never flourished or bustled with life and community. With all of these context clues adding up, one may come to the possible conclusion that this whole place is one big facade, a testing facility, like an old doom town, made to be as real and as accurate as possible. For what reason? I don't know. I know that clearly the testing here has come to an end. Perhaps what was contained at this facility, or what they were testing here, could have caused the outbreak at this location after the rockets struck the Earth. This would all be a shocking revelation to the player, seeming to have stumbled across this place, that lab, Tranzit itself, but there's still more than what meets the eye to be discovered. The zombies with the stylish clothing and collars, could they be site employees? They probably worked for whatever entity owned this facility. As for the Hanford Sanatorium, perhaps that was a cover-up or a code name. Perhaps this place was called the Hanford Sanatorium as to not let on what was truly happening here. Furthermore, what did these employees do? Remember, it's 2035, and it was 2025 when the rockets hit. This can explain the clothing, the lab, the technology, and the weapons. Speaking of that, where are the scientists or the lab personnel? Did they all escape before it went wrong? Did they know something that the others didn't? Where would they escape to? Are there other facilities like this across the US? Maybe the globe? And what are these collars for? I'd assume they'd be some form of shock collar, but then why aren't they on the other zombies? And why would you have those on your employees anyway? They aren't used as some form of zombie control either, because as I said, they aren't found on the zombies wearing gowns and straitjackets. It doesn't seem to make any sense. Could they be security devices? Maybe for monitoring the vitals and locations of all employees. Maybe they're used as some form of ID or security clearance. It's just strange to see them around the necks of what look to be relatively normal people. I can imagine these people walking around the test site when it used to be a test site and not an undead hellscape, when it used to be a lot cleaner. I can imagine them using Jeeps or Humvees, taking the roads to travel between the different components. But still, why are there zombies that look like hospital patients? Well, maybe they were the test subjects. That would only make sense. It could be possible that there were multiple types of experiments going on here. Hospital gowns for the newly inducted or more routine testing, and straitjackets for the brutal, more extreme testing. The unwillingness of the patients would cause them to writhe and squirm.
See, and just little details like that I would never have picked up on as a kid. I wasn't really paying attention to the models of the of the zombies and what it could actually entail. I just seen them as zombies and now they're here. There's an outbreak, there's a virus or whatever. I thought it was more like a Left 4 Dead story. I really wasn't paying attention to how deep and how messed up Group 935 and what Element 115 and all that crap was, and how Maxis was controlling the zombies and how McToffin was controlling the zombies, and I think Samantha was controlling you know what I mean? So I really wasn't paying attention to all of that. I never really was paying attention to any of the little details like that. I would just hear random voices talking or whatever, and I just be like, okay, gotta kill more zombies. But yeah, I would never have picked up on the electric collars or the why are there zombies and got hospital gowns when there's no hospitals around us? Stuff like that. I would never have picked up on that kind of stuff. And the more that now I see this kind of stuff, but now the more I'm listening to him talk about it, the more it's like, wow, this map is actually really mysterious. Whew.
I don't know for sure where this testing could have taken place. The obvious answer would be the lab, but there's so much that we haven't seen. There are all the corridors that are blocked off, rooms that we don't have access to. In the power room, we find a bunch of monitors. They could have been used to watch over the multiple locations found around the map, or they could have been used to watch the test subjects in the lab. In this power room, where we do, in fact, turn on the power, we watch this being unleash after we turn it on. A creature that exists outside of human.
I never even really looked at the Avogadro. I just was like, oh, it's this electric form being. I never even asked questions of like how he got there, what happened to him, how did he become what he is, or how did he form, or how did he get created. I was just like, oh, electric guy. Oh, we gotta shoot him. Oh, we gotta hit him with the Galvan Knuckles. Oh, we gotta EMP him. Then no questions from my young ass. It was just like, up, he's an inconvenience. Oh, we got rid of him. Up, on to the zombies. Back to the bus. Like, it was like, never asked any questions about why he exists or what the hell he is. Jesus Christ.
Comprehension. An electrical beast in the shape of the human nervous system. It appears conscious, aware, like it has feelings, intent. This was most likely one of the experiments being conducted here. It looks angry, probably because of what was done to it. So was this the desired result? Is this what was meant to be created, or is it the aftermath of a catastrophic failure? Was it designed to be a weapon? What is it doing at this specific testing facility, out of all places? Like I had mentioned earlier, there are hallways we don't have access to, and probably different levels to the lab that we've never seen. There's another location that looks very similar to this, under the bank in the town center where Pack-a-Punch is. Through the barricades we see rooms. Maybe this place is connected to the power station. Maybe under the entire site is a sprawling complex of underground labs. The experiments regarding the test subjects, the zombies in patient attire, could very well have taken place in these rooms. What else we notice is a bunch of small cages everywhere. Could these be for rats or rabbits? What else do we see that size? The denizens in the fog. Maybe they were the result of experiments here. Maybe this is where they escaped from, out onto the surface, along with the other test subjects. One more thing, in order to open the door to get to Pack-a-Punch, you have to bring a source of power to this door, located at the labs at the power station. Why is this door here? What's behind this door? How does it connect to the bank? If you dare to venture farther out into the fog, you may stumble upon a cabin. It looks so out of place compared to the rest of the town. Once you step foot inside, you can immediately tell this place is clearly different. Unlike any other place on the map, this place looks lived in. This is the only place on the map where we can find a mattress frame. What makes this even more bizarre are the numerous skulls everywhere. I'm talking in abundance. No other bones of any sort, just skulls. Human skulls, and skulls that don't appear to be. There are skulls even in the fireplace still burning. When was this fire started? But seriously, what is this place doing here? This might be the weirdest one yet. What if, in the 10 years since the rockets hit, one person stumbled upon this place and decided to take refuge here, enough to build a cabin? Maybe this place was abandoned before then. Maybe the cabin was built before the outbreak. This may sound a bit far-fetched, but the other theory I have is maybe this cabin belongs to an on-site employee, a person so sick and infatuated with their work here that they decided to make a secret cabin on facility grounds, hidden in the forest, out of sight of the roads. Maybe that's the person who collected all of these skulls. Maybe they belong to test subjects, like disgusting souvenirs. This, however, isn't the only structure that you will find out in the fog. Past the farm, you find a cornfield. This makes sense, it's next to a farm, but considering the circumstances, there is no chance this corn is real. After all, it's still in rows after not being tended to for 10 years.
And this is the part that really killed me. It was like, even just looking at that, you could tell that there is no corn. Corn is not there. The corn is a lie. Just looking at the one that's fallen over here, they're just planted in there like sticks in the ground. So yeah, I mean, even as a kid, I never asked like, how does this corn? Is this corn still here? Like, how is this still around? Like, no, I'm just gonna run through the cornfield. Oh, there's a giant antenna thing on this side. Oh, what's on here? Oh, it's knocked. What the hell? Can't even play all of it, but oh, look, it's knocked. That's dope. Knocked is just here. All right.
After the earth literally split apart. If this is a doom town and is a fake town, it would make sense to have fake plants as well. Anyways, if you set forth into the cornfield, you'll find yourself staring at Nacht der Untoten. Out of everything on this map, what is this doing here? Our new crew has no idea of this building's significance, but we, the player, do. However, we also know that this building is supposed to be in Europe, so how is it here? Like I mentioned before, the entire facility could be used for testing various things. Maybe they knew what happened at Nacht, and maybe they wanted to perfectly recreate it for whatever reason. What offers credence to this theory is that this place doesn't look exactly like Nacht. The help door doesn't have its iconic markings, barriers are missing sandbags, etc. Not to mention it's been laid to waste, not only by the rockets in the 10 years since then, but also no doubt due to the outbreak itself. Granted, maybe that's what caused all this damage. Maybe it somehow really is the real Nocturne Totem, and all that time faded the paint on the door, for instance. But I'm still adamant that this place has to be a recreation. It makes more sense to me that the Americans would try to replicate Noct for its mysterious properties, rather than have it travel here via some portal or rift in time. Going back to the farm, here we discover what might be the most perplexing mystery of this map. Wandering around the farm, you may not have noticed because it's so ordinary, but there are indeed silos here. One is a regular farm silo, and not too far from it we find a different type of silo. This one looks more industrial, not meant to just store grain. It looks like it's supposed to hold chemicals of some sort. Not that farms don't need chemicals, but then explain why there's Russian text plastered over the whole thing. What do the Russians have to do with this? What's even inside this container? Why is it specifically at the farm? I guess it could be used to test against plants, but like I said earlier, the corn is more than likely fake. I'm willing to bet it's meant for more sinister purposes. Maybe whatever entity owns this facility made some deal or orchestrated a joint operation between the Russians or some Russian corporation. It again begs the question, how widespread are testing facilities like this? Returning to the bus depot, let's talk about something, or rather someone you've probably already become acquainted with.
Welcome aboard. Please have a seat. Thank you for choosing Consolidated Coach Corporation Bus Lines.
His name is Ted, and he clearly isn't someone you'd expect to be driving a bus. As is the theme with this place, this could be another experiment. Artificial intelligence maybe? Or maybe this was outdated technology by the year 2025. Regardless, some of his voice lines are extremely interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now arriving at the Fast Flux Test Facility. Now approaching tunnel entrance for Dulce Base. These beautiful green rolling grass covered hills are home to thousands of head of dairy cattle.
That's another thing. For no reason did I ever actually listen to Ted. And how creepy that shit actually is. I mean, it's right there in your face that this is not what it seems to be. I'm playing this as a kid, and I'm just like, oh, this is town. This is just, oh, we're rolling through the town. Yep, all this stuff is completely normal in this town. God, man, I really didn't pay attention to any kind of details at all, and that's just kind of sad because how much more enjoyment I could have got with the mysteriousness of the maps.
Please gather all top secret files and disembark for Deep Springs Gravitational Anomaly. Attention passengers, please activate clean suits and disembark for Mount Weather. Tehachapi Ranch, just ahead. Please gather your biohazard suits if Tehachapi Ranch is your stop. Now arriving Groom Lake. Last call for Groom Lake. Welcome aboard. Please secure all personal belongings and take your seat. Now departing for the HARP Research Station. Town Center stop. Get up now for shopping, movies, dining, gaming, thriller, fun.
He's clearly severely damaged, but you can still see remnants of what he used to be. Melted, fake skin peels off of his metallic face, revealing uncanny, worn robotic facial features, his eyes a lit blue. Could this be the same figure we see depicted on the postcard? Either way, he's who we're stuck with.
Well, that's what I was going to say. With the way his face is kind of peeled off and everything, I feel like that's probably it. I feel like he's probably what was on the postcard, but his humanoid face has been kind of melted off by either lava or radiation or whatever have you. So I feel like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that, because they were in the same kind of uniform and even the same kind of hat, so I'm assuming that this would probably be the guy off the postcard if I had to take a guess.
With, unless you want to make that unpleasant trek out into the fog. This is a very strange place. No matter what you think about it, no matter what you think it is, things just do not add up. As I alluded to in the beginning, there's clearly something going on here that we were never supposed to know about. But now, after an unfortunate sequence of events, this place seems to be open to the public. However, there doesn't seem to be a public around to see it. Or is there? We never see other survivors, but we are able to hear them and possibly see the signs of them once being here. First, in the farmhouse, we're able to hear radio transmissions through.
Okay, this is actually where it starts to get creepy, even for me now as an adult. This is where it gets creepy for me, and I'll explain why when we get to the certain parts. Alright.
The TV. A survivor seems to be located at a place called Jackass Flats and details a horrific story of their camp being split up by ideology.
Hello. This is Jackass Flats, calling any human community within broadcasting distance. We're located at standard map coordinates 37 degrees 07 north, 116 degrees 03 west. This is a warning to anyone contacted by a group of mysterious voices. Several of our party began to hear the voices, and their competing instructions and incompatible demands drove a wedge down the center of the camp. Half of the camp is carrying out the demands of only through electronic. This voice is a big, long, and its ultimate goal's unclear. The other voice cannot be heard by humans who have not been on the long madness this way lies. Neither of these instruction sets will understand. Those of us who have not chosen a side have been hunted by both sides, seeking to force us to assist them. Oh God, they stop! Oh! Get back! You get stop!
Voices inside of their heads form them into.
Before I let him continue, because it gets creepier and creepier, I want to say that the scariest thing to me, and I know it's probably been said a lot, but it's the truth, it's the truest shit. The scariest thing in a zombie apocalypse would probably be the other survivors. And especially like when they start breaking down into pure cults and like finding new gods or just going fucking insane. That is the most dangerous. That they are way more dangerous than any zombie ever could be. And that's actually what scares me the most in a zombie apocalypse.
Cults. Those who don't wish to participate in their repelling actions become enemies of both sides and must pay in blood. It leaves what once appeared to be a consolidated camp in chaos, and those caught in the middle of it hiding from them all. It sounds like some of these crazed camp members have been transmitting on the radio themselves. One is clearly intoxicated and is probably broken down after everything that's happened.
You think you're so smart, huh? You think you can manipulate everybody into doing what you want, but we know the truth. Your calculating works and your sinister agents? You mean to destroy this planet and kill us all? We're not gonna help. No way, no how. So yeah, you keep talking. But no one's gonna hear you because we're destroying everything. Everything electronic, starting with this evil radio box thing.
Another is heard to be giving in to the voices, seemingly talking to himself over the radio, or rather, the voice in his head.
What's that? Who's there? Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Of course I have. There's nothing else. No, I won't do that. How do I know you're not lying? You could be making all that up, huh? Well, sure, that only makes sense. Dude. You're lying. But, no, I see. Sure. Really? But they're my friends. Yes. Of course I see now. I'll do it. I'll do it for you. For you and the flesh.
Some of these transmissions seem to end in the same ugly demise.
Hello? Hello? Are you there? We evacuated detonated the spire as you instructed, but the shamblers are swarming our location, and we can't hold out against their superior numbers for long without aid. Hello? Please, come in. It is vital that you instruct us on that...
Another hellish detail is if you listen very carefully while roaming around the town, you can make out faint screams in the distance. These aren't the screams of some paranormal spirit like in Verrucht. These are the screams of a real person out there in the wilderness, meeting their demise. Who is it that screamed? Are they at all connected to any of the radio broadcasts? It makes my skin crawl because this is the only time in the history of zombies where we catch a glimpse of any sort at a survivor while we are present, living in.
That's what I was gonna say. That's the most fucked up part, because pretty much every other map you don't really get to, I mean, like, you get to see maybe something of a survivor, but that was an actual, like, you were 10, 20, 30 feet from somebody that was alive and could have helped you, but now they're dead. That's what's fucking scary about that.
In the aftermath. It feels like they're just out of reach, in the woods where we can't get to, in the forest where we don't dare venture. It makes you feel trapped and isolated on a whole new level, like there's truly no escape. I can't help but wonder what happened to these people, what caused them to erupt in fear before being cut off completely. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't, but we don't seem to know anything. We know as much going on here as what's going on out there. Both are terrifying. What about those who could have been here? Remember when I said in the cabin is where you can find the only mattress frame? Well, in the same farmhouse the TV is located in, upstairs we find 2 mattresses strewn about the floor. Almost as if this is where a few people held out for the night. Maybe that's why the lights are still on. Perhaps they left in a hurry. A sobering detail, if we look at the walls, we can see the dirty outlines of picture frames once hung there. They were probably torn down to spare, reminding them of what once was. What's more is that we don't see that detail anywhere else on the map. In fact, I can't find any other place on the map other than the cabin where someone may have held out or visited after the fact. Maybe the other locations were too risky, or the farmhouse was the only place that seemed safe. It could also be because this place wasn't very well known. Not a lot of people stumbled upon it. Very well known. Not a lot of people stumbled upon it. Secret labs, zombies, denizens, the Avogadro, Ted, Nocturne Toten, that Russian silo.
Imagine.
Was there a cover-up? What about the strange cabin in the forest, the mysterious survivors, or the screams out in the fog? As I iterated before, this is a strange place. It becomes more obvious now. We see far too many unordinary things to write it off as simply strange, a coincidence. There must be something intentional here. There are even fallout shelters found around the map, next to the bus depot, hidden in the tunnel. If something were to go wrong, maybe this is where everyone working here was supposed to go. So many factors add up to the possible explanation that this place was a giant testing facility of some sort. With the entire planet being scorched, no sign of any survivors left, you can't help but feel desperation in the air, like you truly may be the only ones left on Earth alive. You feel alone. It's so horrifying to see the spaces that appeared to once harbor life and a social community left in ruins. It feels liminal in a way, like a nightmare. When you look at the surroundings and imagine yourself here, in this scenario that our crew has found themselves in, it's easy to imagine yourself feeling despair, panicked. It's hidden under the excitement of surviving, but when you take a moment to let it sink in, it feels real. That's what I think about when I think about Tranzit, from when I first played it. I had no idea of the official storyline interpretation or eventual retcons. My intrigue was formed immediately from simply playing the map, exploring, trying to make sense of the environment around me and the situation I'm in. I know much of what I've said probably didn't come as a surprise to many hardcore classic zombies fans, but if I did, let me know. Most people know from playing Alpha Omega that Tranzit is the Hanford testing site, but I couldn't really find people figuring that out beforehand, back in 2012. It's so fascinating exploring the signs that were there, when that's all we had to go off of. I realize this all is.
Yeah, as far as figuring out this was the testing site, nah, like I said, I was not even paying attention. I was too busy watching relaxing in, trying to figure out how to get to round 100. So yeah, I was not gonna figure out that this was the testing site. So yeah, I mean it's all there though. Like all the facts are there. I mean it's all right in front of your face. I really just never put it together. I thought it was just a normal town.
Any crazy revelation nowadays, but I still don't see people thinking about it, let alone talking about it nearly as much. I also know that some of this, maybe a lot, is pure speculation on my part, not official, not canon, not only because some of it is just theory, but also because some things have also been disproven or retconned. That's what I really wanted to emphasize. There was once great wonder, interest, and mysterious intrigue. We were left with questions intentionally left unanswered, but so playfully open-ended. The environmental storytelling made it feel like it actually happened.
And that's a great point. I don't play the new games, but I really when I watched the gameplay of the newer stuff, like he brought up a great point that there was questions that were just left to be ambiguous, like mysterious for the player to kind of put their own imaginative spin on. So you could sit there and run around the map and just come up with your own theories of what was going on. Like you could create your own story, kind of basically, like with a little bit of clues that they give you, your own theories of what's going on. And a lot of it still remains unanswered. And a lot of that mysterious intrigue is gone from newer CODs in general across the board. So yeah, I mean, I love videos like this. God dang hiccups. I'm sorry. Sorry, hold on. Boo! Alright, I'm sorry. I love videos like this, video essays, that are especially this well done. You are great at doing this, so please don't stop. There's 3 other videos that he's done so far that I definitely plan on reacting to and talking about. Don't know if I'm gonna get around to doing that one today or doing them anytime soon, or like I'll probably get around to doing them sometime this week. But considering that it took me an hour to get through this 29-minute video, yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit more time than what I got currently. But anyway, he's 100% right. Like I just looking at Transit makes me want to play Transit. That's just where I'm at. I don't have any problem with playing Transit. I enjoy playing Transit. Sometimes I'll hop on Black Ops 2 on the old PS3 and just play with the tiny ass controller that the PlayStation 3 had. And since I'm a full ass adult man now, I struggle with that controller and I die in spots that I shouldn't die in. Plus it's old as hell and it doesn't always read my inputs. But you know what? It's still fun, and it's still a blast to go back and experience my childhood. And you might be wondering why I'm not playing it on PC. Well, it hasn't been remastered in the Black Ops 3 Custom Zombie engine yet. That's a work in progress. And I'll be damned if I'm going to pay $60 to $100 for Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 on this on Steam in 2026. So that's not happening. I'm not supporting Activision like that. I used to do me and my wife used to play Plutonium when it was like you could play the games for free, but that sadly is all gone, and I'm not going to dump, like, especially because all the maps are pretty much in Black Ops 3 at this point, if not with Zombie Chronicles, then with the community making Zombie Chronicles 2. Thank you, Mr. T Lexify and Zilla and Dobby and Verco and everybody that's all the great modders in the community. I do keep up to with them, and like I said, I want to start branching out. I love Borderlands. I love Payday. I love Dark Souls. Dark Souls for me is where I really started to love just lore. Like the Dark Souls lore is absolutely amazing. Like learning about these bosses and like it's amazing. So like that's when I really really love like anything to do with any kind of deep lore. And zombies, especially for classic Treyarch, is full of it. And not only do I want to start bringing, zombie content to this channel, I want to start reacting to zombie content. I want to start looking at other, content in the community, like I do with the Borderlands community. Just because I feel like that's a great way to spread great content around and to give people spotlights, even though I'm nobody and I'll never be anybody. But just any kind of help that I can maybe do to spread this content around is I just want to help as much as I can. But I'm gonna let him finish because he was not done.
The way the map made you feel felt real. All the questions I posed throughout this entire video could easily be organically asked by an intrigued player. The conclusion I came to could certainly be found by someone else without any outside influence. The game doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't explicitly tell you what's going on. That's up to you, the player, to find out and rationalize. And you do that through the characters. You are experiencing this map for the first time as well as they are. We don't go in knowing everything there is to know. We go in barely even knowing the basics, leaving everything to be discovered and explored by you, as if you were a part of the cast. You're treated as intelligent, able to figure things out on your own. And that's the one thing that I think they truly succeeded in with this map. It definitely doesn't compare to other maps as far as gameplay goes, but it fulfills and even exceeds some other maps in the realm of world building and environmental storytelling, in capturing such believable and addictingly terrible feelings. This map gives you so many things to think about, and when you put it all together, it's this perfectly unsolved mystery that keeps you hooked, on the edge of your seat, indefinitely. There are things I didn't even talk about as well, like, who is JD? Why are those initials scrawled into Ted? There's a meteor that struck the bus station. What about the train cars next to the power? I didn't even talk about the jet gun. Was it involved in the experiments going on here, or did our cast truly just cobble it together? And there's probably a lot that I either missed or forgot about. I just wanted to illustrate how perfect of an atmosphere Tranzit has, how formidable it truly is, at least to me. I can only imagine how much brighter that would have shined if this map played better. There are these images.
I'm gonna be honest. If this map if this map was somehow able to come out during the Black Ops 3 era, slash make it, to the PS4. If Black Ops 2 was on the PS4 instead of the PS3, I feel like they could have completed their vision a little better than what they were able to with the PS3 and Xbox 360 hardware. That being said, I still think even with the limitations, they did a good job. Definitely, this is one of the weaker maps that you're going to be able to play on OGBO2. I'm going to say though, much as I enjoy Nuketown as a fun little challenge map, as much as I do enjoy Die Rise for the same reason I enjoy Transit, which is just, a lot of nostalgia and just enjoying it, but that map had a shit ton of problems too. I'm still going to say that I would rather play Transit over Die Rise. Now, this is not talking about the Die Rise remastered for custom zombies on Black Ops 3. I'm talking about just BO2 maps played on console, on PS3 or Xbox 360. I'm choosing Transit over Die Rise all day. And that's just because, for my style, I enjoy the darker, creepier atmospheres than the bright lights, and I don't really enjoy at all like people that don't like the bus. Well, you can get around the bus by running, buy stamina up, and there's shortcuts around to make it wherever you want. You have to take them damn elevators, and you have to use them damn keys to try to get around. I don't like waiting on elevators at all. Now, I know you can try to avoid the elevators. There's ways to make your way around the map without using the elevators, but once you go down a specific way and you don't have a travel steam or a key or whatever, you have to use the elevators, and I just don't enjoy the verticality of Die Rise. Now, does that mean that I hate Die Rise and I would never play it? No, of course I actually really do enjoy Die Rise, just like I enjoy Transit. But I'm just saying, if I had to choose a map to play one over the other, I would definitely choose Transit to play, just because it's for the most part all flat. And you can get to all the locations just by running in a straight line. And that's just kind of what I enjoy. I don't really like the skyscraper aspect and stuff like that. Now, I really enjoy the being able to fly and glitch over walls with fucking the paralyzer. So that's not saying that, but that map is pretty much flat too. Although you can get to like rooftops and stuff like that with the paralyzer. But that being said, I a discussion if you made it this far into the video. Die Rise or Transit? I'm choosing Transit just for the atmosphere alone, and just for the fact that it's pretty much all flat land. The only thing I hate is that damn jump in the power plant that you have to make. And as a kid, sometimes it was 50-50 for me. Sometimes I would just fall to my death and lose all my shit. Not so much now, but when I was a kid and I would get nervous about the jump, I would just fall right into the lava pit. Yeah, that's a question to you guys. Transit, Die Rise. Which one are you choosing?
Of Transit that have stuck with me for a while. The rays of moonlight illuminating the dirty, cracked tiles of the bus station floor. The neon lights of the highway diner sign cling desperately to life as their glow splashes upon the metallic roof. The lava floods the fog with a red, hellish hue, as you can see from the dark, bleak interior of the diner. The sun, hidden behind a veil of fog, crests the top of the church that looks over the barren town, vacant and destroyed. Yet signs of civilization hang on tight to survival. These desolate sights of all these empty rooms, cluttered and in ruins, live in my head. They'll keep me fascinated for eternity.
What an amazing way to end the video. What an amazing outro. But one thing I was going to point out is I always notice the die sign, how the letters light up on top of the diner that says die. But I never really paid attention to the fact that this sign says now die. I never really paid attention to this particular sign. So yes, guys, please go and subscribe to StormDev at StormDev. I forget if that's an underscore. I can't. I'm tired. But please go and subscribe to this man here. It is just an absolute great content, great video in general. The voiceover is great. The scripting is great. The video editing is great. I enjoyed it all. So please do go and subscribe to StormDev and show him some love and just enjoy some great content. Like I said, there's still Die Rise that I have not watched. Now, I'm going to say that I watched the Transit video. I watched this one in full on my alt account. But once I finished it and I seen that he had 3 more on Die Rise, Mob, and Buried, I realized that I want to watch those live so I can react live as I'm watching them. So I'm doing everything I can to avoid watching them. And the Mob of the Dead one is very recent. So I'm honestly going to do everything I can to avoid the Mob of the Dead one for as long as I can to let him get the views that he deserves, before I siphon any off of that video. The Transit one is a half a year old. The Diarise one is 3 months, and the Buried one is 2 months. So I feel like it's okay if I do these. Don't feel so good about doing this one yet. I want to let that one kind of set so he gets the views that he deserves. First, because he is a small channel, and he deserves any kind of recognition that he can get. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch the Diarise and the Buried one with you guys, and I'm gonna give the Mob of the Dead one a little bit of time to marinate, so to speak, so he can get some more views without me fucking siphoning off the title, because that's what's gonna happen, because that's just what happens. So anyway, thank you, Storm Dev, if you ever see this. Thank you, and thank you for making great content. And to everybody else, it's been the internet's favorite loser signing off. Once again, until next time, my friends.